Okay, folks, so I've mentioned to you before that you can have something like x equals 3 or 3 equals x in an equation that's the same thing. It doesn't really matter which one's on the left or on the right. But now when we're getting into formulas, we want to think of whatever is on the left-hand side as the subject. So the pronumeral that's on the left-hand side, in this example, t, that's going to be the subject of our formula. So in this case, t equals 4x plus 1. T is, the word for that is the subject. So a formula or a rule, it's a type of equation, so it still has a left-hand side, right-hand side, and an equal sign, but it has two or more variables, pronumerals, one of which is the subject of the equation. Okay, so here we had t. We don't know what t is, but there's also another variable of x. Well, don't worry, we'll have to know what some of this is so that we can solve it. To use a formula, first substitute all known values into the equation, then solve to find the final value. So you will be given information. So in a formula like this one, let's write it out. K equals 3b, which is 3 times b, plus 2. So for A, we're going to solve as for K, which is our subject, if B is 5. So I'll write K out again, but this time I'm going to substitute 5 in the place of B, and then I'm going to solve. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2. In this case, K is 17. But now, for B, I'm going to use the same formula or rule. K equals, this is B I'm doing, 3b plus 2. But now we've changed the rules. Well, what is it when we have b being 10? Okay, so we're still solving for k. If it's 3 times 10 plus 2, 3 times 10 is 30 plus 2. If b is 10, in that case, k is 32. Okay, I'm with you. Okay. Now, this one, we're using the same formula or rule, 3b plus 2, but now we're asked to find b, okay, if k is 23. So we don't need to mess around with the formula. We're just going to substitute 23 over here, where k was, and still keep the rest of the stuff. So now we're solving for b. So we're going to, how do we get rid of a positive 2? We take away 2. That leaves us 21 equals 3b, and we want one of those 3b's, so we divide by 3 on both sides, and we'll get 7 is b. Or therefore, because we're asking the question, we should say that b equals 7. So there'll always be something to get us going. Let's do a couple more. Consider q equals w times 4 plus t. So we've got a bracket there. Find the value of q. So q is still our subject. We still write the same thing out. If w is 10, so I'll substitute 10 there, and t is 3. Okie dokie. Now what do I do first? Of course I do what's in the brackets first, because I am 4 plus 3 is 7. And then I could do q equals 70. Of course I could, if I was really in a funny mood, I could multiply 10 times 4 and then 10 times 3. Lo and behold, it's still 70. Now we're looking for t. So we're going to keep our rule the same. Q equals w 4 plus t. It's a t. But now we want to find t if q is 42 and w is 6. So I'm going to substitute 42 because that's the known value of q. And I'm going to substitute 6, and that's a known value for w. And now we have 4 plus t. Now this time I really do have to expand my brackets, and I'm going to multiply 6 times 4, which gives me 24. And I'm also going to add that to the multiplied 6 times t. So I've got to do it that way this time. Now, if I want just 6t, I've got a positive, sounds like a Muppet. I've got a positive 24, so I'm going to take 24 away from each side. So 24 minus 42, I don't know what that is. Take away 24 from 42, 8 is obviously 18. So now, 18 equals 6. You could use a calculator for that too. How do I get t by itself? From those 6 t's, I divide by 6, and I find that 3 equals t, or therefore, answering the question, t is equal to 3. And if you're ever not sure that you have got it right, go back and substitute that number in for t, and you should come out with a true equation. Let's go practice.